All right, good morning. Just a quick little update that I didn't get to. I was supposed to record this last night, I couldn't. This is from just some notes that I took about the RFK hearing yesterday, the Senate confirmation hearing, the first one. Later on today, there will be part two. The second one looks like it is with a different committee, where tomorrow's will be with the Senate Health Committee. And we will be covering that as well. But here's some notes that I took about the first one. Senate confirmation began as Kennedy walked into the room with his wife, children, and extended family. Kennedy walks around the table and shakes every senator's hand. Senator Mike Crapo leads the hearing, and the lead Democrat immediately attacks Kennedy before Kennedy's opening statement. So there was a little bit of back and forth there with the Medicaid website going down. And I don't know if that's regular, if that's normal for someone who is being confirmed to walk around and shake every senator's hand, regardless of what side of the aisle they're on. Kennedy did. I thought that was very classy. I haven't really seen that. Maybe they have that, and I just have never seen it before. But I thought that was a very, very classy move. Okay. So if President Trump is the Don, then Kennedy is a concierge. Consigliere. That was interesting to watch, where you see kind of like I'm an old school. I love the old school mafia movies. And this is what everything here is kind of playing out like. It does kind of feel like an old school mafia movie that we're watching in real time. And definitely, President Trump is the Don, the Godfather, but Kennedy is right there, right there. It's nice to see a Kennedy on this side of the hearing table, as opposed to on the other side, grilling mafia people. And you should know that that was Senator John F. Kennedy, I believe. Now, the heckling begins when Kennedy states he's not anti vax. Hecklers sound like they came from someone who wants to force vaccines on us all. Some believe if we don't want to get vaccinated, we are killing people and we are the enemy. Kennedy believes in medical freedom, and I do too. If people want to take a vaccine, that's their choice. If I don't, that's mine. I don't believe in forcing people to take a vaccine. I also believe in the right to try alternative, and those alternatives need to be available to the public at an affordable cost. That is a big thing, not just to have them available, because they are, but at an affordable cost. Because just because there are some of these great miracle drugs out there, like ivermectin, they're not cheap, and so we need to figure out a way to make these affordable, so that it's not just the poor people that are dying from these cancers, from these illnesses, these chronic diseases that Kennedy constantly talked about and will constantly talk about further. Now, when the lead Democrat introduced a letter from Kennedy's cousin, Caroline, questioning Kennedy's physical fitness, I about near laughed. And I told Christian this. I said, um, Kennedy should have stood up, ripped off his shirt, and said, "Oh yeah, check out these muscles, sir." That's what Kennedy should. Of course, he's not going to do that. The dude is way too classy. But in my mind, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was hoping he was gonna do. But obviously, he didn't. Now, recording the second heckler, you could see one of Kennedy's family members shouting back at that dummy. That happened. So I looked like a family member. You could see somebody in the second or third row got up, and the heckler, as the heckler was being taken out, this person was shouting back at them. The heckling the heckling was bad, but it was very minimal. It was very minimal. It only happened twice. They tried to make a big deal out of it. More so, people in the audience were clapping and cheering for Kennedy or for senators that were pro RFK Jr. I don't think the media knows what to do with that. I don't think the Democrats know what to do with that either, because this is supposed to be the darling of the Democrat Party here. This would have been, and any hope for the Democrats to rebuild that party around somebody like RFK Jr. is completely gone. All of them, the MAGA, and the Maha, that merger is so powerful. And like Nicole Shanahan said last night when she gave a stark warning, she's like, "This is the most powerful movement ever." And she said they have unlimited funds. She is not backing down. She is going after some people. If they, she said, she flat out gave them a warning. If people vote, the people who vote against, the senators who vote against RFK Jr., she's coming after them, and she is going to get them voted out of their district. And there is she. There's no end to the money she has. That's what she was saying. I don't doubt her at all. I don't doubt her at all. She donated a lot of money to the RFK Jr. campaign, presidential campaign. All right. Okay, let's go. Kennedy was doing great throughout the whole thing. He was great, but even in the beginning, he was doing great, even with his voice issues. So sometimes it may sound like he's stammering or he's like searching for the answer because he doesn't know it. That is really more related to the issues that he has with his voice. If you've read his books, if you've heard him on the various podcasts, the research papers, the things that he's done, you can clearly see this guy is a very competent person and a very smart, bright individual. He can get past the voice. And even Christian Coffins on the Dark Docs Network show, Dark Docs Digest show last night, said Kennedy's voice is getting better. And it is. It is getting better because it was pretty bad. Around 2008 ish, 2014 ish, it was pretty bad. And you could, if you go back and listen to Kennedy talk back then, you can clearly see a big, big difference. This is Kennedy 2.0. This is MAGA Kennedy. Okay, so this is a very pro-Kennedy audience. When one senator, of course a Democrat, said he was trying to be fair to Kennedy, the crowd erupted in laughter. That was funny because the senator is just going on saying all this stuff, not really letting Kennedy talk, just wants to get his things out. Even though in Kennedy's opening statement, he made it clear that he's not anti-vax. He put that in his 2014 book, and I'm curious. I wonder if that's the book with Dick Russell. I got to find what book he's talking about. But in the 2014 book, the first thing that you see in the book, according to Kennedy, is I'm not anti-vax. That's how the book begins, and that's how the book ends. I thought that was fascinating too. Now, Kennedy, there's a different senator. Kennedy pledged to work with this senator from Rhode Island, but that senator didn't believe him. Because he's seen similar promises made and broken. But Kennedy will be different, and I hope the senator will just watch and wait. All of the doubters, I think Kennedy is going to be able to prove them wrong, and you could tell Kennedy is willing to work with them. He will work with them if they'll work with him. So, and he will listen is the other thing. He will listen to them. Now, this is the quote of the whole hearing for me. Quote, farm country is Trump country. That's what RFK Jr. said about halfway through. And this was long. This was like 3.5 hours here with one minimal break here. But that is a direct quote from Kennedy that really stuck out to me. Farm country is Trump country. Now, Kennedy, farmers love Kennedy, as we know. And we also know that farmers love Trump. They love them both. And what is not to love? I do want to just make sure, just check the audio. I always I'm pretty bad about this audio. Is it on? I can't even tell. I can't even tell if the video's playing or not. It looks like it is. That's weird. Very strange stuff. Sorry, I know. Really wanted to speed through this here, but need to make sure I'm not just yelling into a vacuum. Let's see. Why can I not get this right? Oh, yeah. Okay. It looks like it is. All right. There we go. Okay. And the audio's okay. Sorry. Just want to make sure. I guess I have to do this over. Very limited time. But farm country is Trump country, Kennedy said during the hearing. Farmers love Kennedy and Trump. Farmers to forks. Look up that. Farmers to forks. This was a great quote that I heard a congressman say yesterday. Farmers to forks. That's awesome. Go directly from the farms to the forks, not just the forks in your home, in your business, but more importantly and most importantly, in our schools, to our children, how to get them directly to our children as quickly as possible. That's a big deal. Now, farmers to forks is a great concept that I hope Kennedy can expand on, and I think he will. Kennedy believes Medicaid is a necessary program like Medicare, but it's not working the way it's currently run. We can do better. He does want to figure out a way to combine them both somehow. And why are they separated? You know, one is a pay as you play, pay to play, and the other one is free for low income. And I don't know why it can't be run under the same umbrella. And it sounds like that's what Kennedy is trying to do, but he's not going to take it away. All the Democrats they focused on two things. Kennedy's going to take away everything, and he is going to unvaccinate everybody, make sure no one has vaccines, things like that, which is absolutely untrue. Kennedy made it very clear what President Trump wants him to do is to make America healthy again. That's the goal. And so when they question him on all these other things, they're like, oh, okay, so that's all you're focused on? It's like, well, if we do that first, we won't have to worry about all these other wedge issues that they keep bringing up. And they kept bringing up these wedge issues, not focusing on the real issue, the main problem, cutting off the head of the snake. They just wanted to pick off a few scales here and there. And it sounded like a lot of Democrats thought that the health industry is doing great. The pharma is awesome, and we shouldn't make any changes. That's the way that they were acting, and we know that that's not true, and we know that they don't believe that either. Maybe some who are getting kickbacks from big pharma, but it ain't Kennedy who's doing that. So, Mr. Lujan, a Democrat from New Mexico, this was funny because he was, as he's speaking, you get the crowd is kind of jeering and kind of laughing at him. So he turns to Senator from Idaho, Mike Crapo, who is running this whole show. He turns to that senator during his testimony, and he asks him to please ask the crowd not to speak. It's like, yeah, we know we don't want hecklers here too, but anyone in the audience should be quiet. And technically, he is right. But that also shows how pro Kennedy this crowd was. This audience was so pro Kennedy that they couldn't help but laugh at the right moments. They couldn't help but do a little clapping and a little cheering. And it was a very pro Kennedy audience. Don't let anybody fool you of anything different. But this is one thing, and of course, I'm trying to write this as I'm watching live. But the Mr. Lujan, from the senator from New Mexico, says, "quote It's up to me. It's up to us to." Oh wait! Oh no! Okay, yeah. This is based on. This is what caused. This is what Kennedy said. Let me put it like this. This is what Kennedy said that caused people to laugh, and then Senator Mr. Lujan got upset, and asked the head to quiet the crowd down. This is what Kennedy said. He said, "quote Because Kennedy," and I should preface this a little bit. But Kennedy was asked about getting rid of Medicaid. How are you going to do this? And Kennedy said, "quote It's not up to me to cut Medicaid. It's up to Congress." So anyone who is worried that Kennedy is going to make cuts to Medicaid should not be worried, because should not be worried that Kennedy is going to do it. He doesn't have the power to do it. It's Congress. And when Kennedy said that it's not up to me to cut Medicaid, it's up to Congress, people started laughing because the question was so ridiculous that this senator should have known that. Mr. Lujan, he cries about it, and he said, "quote We're just trying to do our jobs here, that's all." And then he asked Mike Crapo to ask the crowd not to talk anymore, to be quiet, be respectful. And they did. They did after that. Senator Crapo asked the audience to be respectful and not talk during the hearing. Senator Lujan keeps on about Medicaid, oblivious to the fact that it's not working. Lujan loves it as it is. He doesn't seem to believe reform is needed. He's only concerned that HHS may put a spotlight on Medicaid and how to make it great again. And Kennedy will do that. As they take a break, cheers for Kennedy breakout. We love you, Bobby. That's what they were saying. Kennedy destroys Senator Tina Smith from Minnesota, don't you know? And Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock got upset and accused Kennedy of filibustering because Kennedy would not answer a yes or no. They kept calling these simple questions. These are not simple questions. They can't just answer yes or no. But that is a tactic that we see a lot. Now, interesting, the Democrat Senator Peter Welch brings up the quote about Kennedy's cousin Caroline. He doesn't specifically ask Kennedy to comment on it. Another senator does, or Kennedy does end up commenting on that very, very little. But Senator Peter Welch, the Democrat, and I forget what state he's from, but he was pretty fair, and he seemed like the most sincere Democrat there. Now, Welch actually gives Trump credit for Operation Warp Speed, then has concerns about Kennedy disagreeing with Trump on Operation Warp Speed. But isn't that what we want? This is why Kennedy is a perfect person for this role. Kennedy can give Trump a different perspective. Trump likes to be challenged. Trump doesn't like people who kiss his butt. He needs to hear different viewpoints. He thrives on it. He is a good businessman. Trump gets everyone in the room for a roundtable discussion, like a mafia don would do, maybe. Like one would do leading a board meeting. And then Trump goes around the room and hears everyone's views. I've seen him do this many times in the White House, live on camera. Trump demonstrated this recently during a roundtable meeting in California with the mayor of LA and some California politicians. He listened, he spoke, and he challenged them when needed. He cracked the whip and went directly at them when the mayor was saying, well, we got to put safety first. They are safe. Well, we need to. Some of the politicians were like, well, we need more funding. We can't cut FEMA. We need federal funding. Trump's like, just turn the water on. Turn the water onto the fire hoses so they can put out the fire. It's a simple concept. People like it, like water. I got to find that quote. It's one of the funniest quotes in the last couple of days. But then the result of that was that California politicians got off their butts and began to do the right thing. Now, release the water and let the people back in their homes. And that's exactly what is happening now, finally. Because before this, the mayor was like, well, we got to wait weeks. We can't rebuild for months. It's just like Kennedy or Trump is like, no, let's do it now. Let's get this done. Let's get people back in their homes. Let's start rebuilding now. Let's not wait. What are we waiting for? Safety first. They are safe. And that's a great back and forth. When I have some time, I want to cut up just the clips of Trump just destroying everyone at the California fire press conference when the mayor is saying, "Well, people will get back to their homes." You could hear people in the audience, "When?" And Trump is like there. Trump is like speaking for the average person there. Let's get this done. And when you have it coming at that level, the president of the United States, the greatest country on God's green earth, it holds a lot of weight. Trump just going there was able to get things done, was able to get people off of their butts and get them to do something, or they should be voted out. It's up to the people of that area if they're cool with it. Now, during this hearing, I said go back to James Langford part where Kennedy addresses the issue with his family. So I didn't take quotes from that, but that is where if you want to hear Kennedy talk a little bit about his cousin Caroline Kennedy, who attacked him publicly again. I mean, just a complete sellout. Caroline Kennedy is one of the worst Kennedys ever. A complete sellout. Is not concerned with her father's death, is not concerned with her uncle's death, is not concerned with Martin Luther King's death, is not worried about finding out what happened with President Trump, and is not loyal to the last great Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. She is a traitor, and she is everything that a Kennedy shouldn't be, and she should be ashamed of herself. She probably doesn't even care about her own brother's death, looking into it to make sure it's all on the up and up. But whatever. Kennedy also accused Senator Warren of calling him a shill. That was funny. Go back and find that one because she's like, "Will you pledge this? Will you pledge that?" And of course, I'm sure you can go and see who some of her big donors are and see what she would pledge. But donors are okay. It's okay for Big Pharma to donate money to you as long as you don't go and work. Will sit on their board of directors, which is something she could never do because she's not qualified. Pocahontas would never be able to do that. Now, that's really it. Just one last thing to say. Trump made politics entertaining, but Kennedy and Trump makes politics fun. And that's all I got for today, folks. God bless you all. We'll be back here live streaming just like everybody else, every 20 million people watching, streaming the second hearing. That is about to start here in just a few minutes, actually. Let me see if I can show that. That is coming up. I will put that link in the description, but you can go. It's going to be everywhere. I thought I couldn't find the live C-SPAN feed yet. Maybe that isn't up, but it is up on Fox News if you want to go and look at that. It's actually starting in about 19 minutes. So, whoops, why'd I do that? I put it in the wrong chat. I put it in their chat. It doesn't make any sense. You put it in our chat. That would make a little more sense, I think. All right, that's about all I got for you. God bless you all. Make America great again. Make America healthy again. This is going to be a fun 4 years. Book is coming along great. So close to a final first draft. There are a few things I got to add, specifically the stuff from the clipumentary that I have here, beginning when Kennedy and Trump joined forces. That stuff I really have not put into the book yet. I've made notes to add some of that stuff in there. So that those will be some of the things that I need to add. Then the book is ready for a first rough print. I'd like to take the rough print, read it, go back, make edits, add things, because I have a few things that I think still need to be added into it, but it's mostly done. I'm so happy with it. I'm ready to get this one published and move on to the next project as I continue to watch everything that is going on with Kennedy and Trump in 2025. God bless you all. Have a great day. Remember, Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I.